Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Will Solskjaer be Manchester United manager at Christmas? If bad results persist, I'm very sceptical about it. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is under pressure after Manchester United's 4-2 defeat to Leicester. It was the first time we lost away from home in the Premier League since January 2020. And reflecting on the loss to Leicester, we are winless in our last 3 league games. And Manchester United have only won 2 of the last 7 games in all competitions. Solskjaer did admit that he made bad decisions in the 4-2 defeat to Leicester. But despite all of that, the Athletic have come out and said that Solskjaer will not be sacked by Manchester United despite Man United's poor form. So Solskjaer's job is safe for now. Antonio Conte is the favourite to replace Solskjaer. Antonio Conte is available because he left Inter Milan at the end of last season. There's quite a lot of Manchester United fans that are demanding Antonio Conte in. There's been some United fans as well demanding Zidane in. It did say though regarding Conte earlier on this season that Conte would accept the Man United job if Solskjaer was to be sacked. And Conte made it clear that he wants a winning project, so he rejected Arsenal and he rejected Tottenham. Conte has got a good pedigree behind him. Won a lot of trophies in his home nation. Managed Chelsea before. In his first season at Chelsea, he won the Premier League. But Solskjaer is out of excuses. Revert back to what I've mentioned on my recent videos. Because Solskjaer received very good backing in this year's summer transfer window. John Murtough backed him. John Murtough is our director of football. And we made the right decision getting a director of football in, because I did mention that's one of the structural changes we needed at the club. During the international break, John Murtough said, "We need to keep control and we will not deviate from the plan." Darren Fletcher also backed Solskjaer in the summer transfer window. We made the right decision recommending Darren Fletcher back in. You know, Darren Fletcher knows the club through thick and thin. He endured 2 decades as a player for Man United. And Ed Woodward has also backed Solskjaer. Obviously, we know Woodward is leaving Manchester United. It got announced he was leaving back in April when that European Super League came into the equation. Ed Woodward has had a 16-year association at Man United. In January, Ed Woodward will be replaced by Richard Arnold. That's been confirmed. And the Glazers surprisingly backed Solskjaer in the summer transfer window. And you know what? Man United enjoyed a very good summer transfer window. We made 4 signings. We brought Tom Heaton in on a free from Villa, brought Jadon Sancho in from Borussia Dortmund, brought Rafael Varane in from Real Madrid, and we re-signed Cristiano Ronaldo after 12 years. We spent around 141 million in the summer transfer window. And you know, Man United have got a very good squad. It's a title-winning squad, so in reality, we should be winning the Premier League this season. But the problem is, we're not playing as a team. We're playing as individuals, like Neville mentioned earlier on this season. You've got the likes of Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City and that, playing as a team. and that's why they're in a much better position than Manchester United. It's still possible that Solskjaer will get until the end of this season. I've said to you already, Solskjaer has to win a trophy at Manchester United this season to save his job. He's not yet won a trophy as Man United manager. We haven't won anything since 2017, and earlier on this season Solskjaer did say that we must leave a legacy of silverware. Well, we know Solskjaer's ambition for this season, and that's to win the Premier League. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013. That's 8 years ago now. This season is Solskjaer's third full season as Man United manager. And I did mention at the start of this season that this season was going to be massive for Solskjaer because he's got big expectations to exceed. In the summer, Solskjaer signed a new contract with Man United until 2024. There's an option of a further year. I can definitely assure you won't see out that contract. We made a mistake giving him that contract, and a lot of United fans will agree with me on that aspect. If Solskjaer is still Man United manager in December, he'll be celebrating 3 years as Manchester United manager. But my concerns about Solskjaer is that he hasn't got a proven pedigree as a manager. And his decision making concerns me and a lot of other Manchester United fans because analysing the vast majority of the games Solskjaer's managed at Man United, he's been tactically naive. Hasn't he? But the vast majority of Manchester United fans are now Ollie out. There's more demanding him out now, reflecting on that loss to Leicester, but there was plenty of United fans that wanted him out anyway prior to the Leicester game. But I just feel as though Solskjaer is in a position that he shouldn't be in. I think the expectations are far too high for him to exceed. Solskjaer is managing one of the biggest clubs in the world, if not the biggest. And Ollie knew when he'd taken over at Man United it was going to be a massive job, despite him knowing the club through thick and thin. And he knew he had a lot to do when he came in. Whatever happens regarding Solskjaer, though, we'll always adore him because at the end of the day, he is a club legend. He endured 11 years as a player for Man United and he flourished under Ferguson's guidance. Ollie got appointed in December 2018 to replace Mourinho. He's been permanent Manchester United manager since March 2019. There's positives regarding Ollie, there's not all negative. I think Ollie has made good signings as Manchester United manager. So far, Solskjaer has signed 14 players. And we spent like 441 million under Ollie. Ollie's endured like 5 transfer windows as permanent Man United manager. Ollie's also got rid of a lot of players since he's come in, which he knew he had to do. He's got rid of players permanently, he's loaned quite a few players out. I like the way Solskjaer develops the youth, that's a positive. And another positive is that Solskjaer's more or less given everybody their chances to express themselves, including the young players like he showed he would do when he got appointed in as Man United manager. Some progress has been made under Ollie. Revert back to what I've said so many times before, because Ollie has guided us to semi-finals. He got us to 3 semi-finals in his first full season, got us to the EFL Cup semi-final last season, got us to the FA Cup quarter-final last season, got us to the Europa League final, and that was his first major final as Man United manager. Unfortunately, Manchester United didn't win the Europa League final. We lost on penalties to Villarreal. So there you go, and Solskjaer got us a 3rd place finish in his first full season, and last season he got us a 2nd place finish. But despite me criticising Solskjaer a lot, and despite me wanting him out, I've got to give him credit in general and say, yeah, he has done a pretty good job to say the current squad he was left with when he got appointed in as Man United manager. Because Ollie was inheriting a lot of deadwood, and he's still inheriting some deadwood now. I didn't expect Ollie to do as well as he has done, so in that aspect, I am shocked. So there you go, and yeah, he's not the long-term manager for Manchester United. If Solskjaer does get sacked, he will be the fourth permanent manager to be sacked since Ferguson, because we've already sacked 3 managers since Ferguson. We sacked Moyes, we sacked Van Gaal, and we sacked Jose Mourinho. And we're not even really known as a sacking football club because we haven't got the structure to keep sacking managers. But like I've said before, when results aren't going our way and when we're inconsistent and stuff like that, not all the blame stems from Ollie, because it's never all the manager's fault, but there's certain players that have got to take responsibility as well, because there's still certain players at Man United that are not good enough to represent the club. So there you go. I am expecting Manchester United to sell players next year. I think next year Manchester United will sell Donny van der Beek. He'll go in January. The main reason is because he's not getting enough game time at Manchester United, and Gary Neville has come out and said that Van der Beek should leave Manchester United in January. I said Solskjaer has to start Donny van der Beek, especially in the Premier League. Because he's a good player, but I hadn't had much of a perception on him at Man United. Van der Beek played no part against Leicester recently. Not so long ago, it said Solskjaer's private view on Van der Beek became public. Solskjaer still believes Van der Beek has an Old Trafford future despite his lack of game time. Earlier on this season, Fabrizio Romano revealed that Van der Beek is planning to leave the club in January. Earlier on this season, it said Van der Beek's agent is said to be working hard on finding a new club for his client. Many clubs are in for Van der Beek. Recently, Juventus opened talks with Van der Beek's agent. Barcelona have been in for him. Newcastle have been interested in him. And Everton remain interested in him. That's what Sky Sports News said the other week. Everton were close to signing Van der Beek on loan, but Solskjaer rejected Van der Beek's exit. Earlier on this season, Van der Beek was furious with Solskjaer. Don't forget, after he was left on the bench in Man United's win over Villarreal, and reflecting on that, it said Van der Beek will try to force a January transfer away from Man United. And earlier on this season, Van der Beek told Solskjaer his best position. He reckons he'd be best served operating as a number 6 or as a number 8. And earlier on this season, Van der Beek spoke about his Man United future in an exclusive interview with Ferdinand. Van der Beek's been at Man United for 18 months. This season's his second full season. We got Van der Beek in a deal worth 40 million, with add-ons included. He's got a contract with Man United till 2025 and he's versatile. He can play in 3 different roles. I think Manchester United should offload Fred next year, because as you all know, I've got my strong reservations about Fred. We overpaid for Fred. We got him in a deal worth 50 million from Shakhtar Donetsk. Fred has played a lot of games since he come to United. He didn't play against Leicester recently due to personal reasons. There haven't been any rumours though about Fred leaving next year, but before he has been subjected to transfer speculation. I think Matic should go next year. I think he will go next year. Matic isn't one of our first choice midfielders. Despite that though, sometimes he does get his opportunities. Surprisingly, he's ahead of Van der Beek in the centre midfield. Matic started against Leicester recently. Matic has had his good games at Man United, but he's also had his bad games. We got Matic from Chelsea back in 2017 for 40 million. Jesse Lingard, I'm expecting him to leave next year. As you all know, Lingard's planning to run down his contract. He said recently that Jesse Lingard rejected a Man United contract offer because of two players. Well, it said last month that Lingard rejected a Man United contract over playing time concerns. Lingard's current contract at Man United expires at the end of the season. ESPN recently said that Lingard is a target for Barcelona and AC Milan. Solskjaer actually wants Lingard to stay at Man United though. He really does. Prior to the West Ham game in the league earlier on this season, Solskjaer said he believes Lingard will be a Man United player next season. Solskjaer said Lingard's red through and through. In the summer transfer window, West Ham wanted Lingard, but they were struggling to meet our 25 million asking price. At the second half of last season, Lingard enjoyed a 4-month loan spell with West Ham and he made an impact. But Lingard has been part of the club for a long time. Man United will sell Anthony Martial next year. Martial doesn't really get in our team, and Martial is no longer good enough to represent the club. I reckon Martial is finished at Manchester United. Earlier on this season it said Man United are ready to sell Martial, and Man United will demand close to the 54 million they originally paid for Martial back in 2015 from Monaco. Before the start of this season, though, it said Solskjaer refuses to sell Martial as he remains part of his plans. Don't forget, Solskjaer was the one that gave him that number 9 shirt. It said the other week that Newcastle wanted Anthony Martial. Newcastle made formal contact with Martial's representatives. Newcastle are planning to spend big after the Saudi Arabians taking over them. Martial's been a long-term target for Tottenham. It said earlier on this season that Barcelona are considering making a move next year. Atletico Madrid wanted Martial last summer. Don't forget Martial rejected the chance to join Lyon on loan on deadline day. And before the start of this season, Inter Milan wanted Anthony Martial to replace Lukaku because Lukaku went back to Chelsea. The best season I recall Martial having was his debut season under Van Gaal, and last season he was out with an knee injury for a while. Martial's been at Man United now for like 6.5 years. He's got 3 years left on his contract. Martial scored 79 goals for Man United in all competitions. I think Cavani will leave next year, but revert back to what I've said before, I can't say I want Cavani to leave because Cavani has made an impact since he's come in. Cavani didn't play against Leicester recently due to personal reasons, but he did play against Everton before the international break. Cavani's got under a year left on his Man United contract. It was back in May he signed that 1-year contract extension and he receives over £200,000 a week. Earlier on this season, Cavani was out with injury. Earlier on this season, it said Real Madrid want Cavani on loan in January. And I presume Barcelona will reignite their interest in Cavani in January. Because Barcelona tried to get Cavani on deadline day in the summer transfer window. Cavani, though, has got a very good pedigree behind him. He won a lot of trophies when he was at PSG. Plus, he was a long-serving player when he was at PSG. Cavani initially lost his place in the team with us re-signing Ronaldo, but we're considering a formation change which will allow Solskjaer to play two strikers, so I presume it would be Cavani and Ronaldo. I think Mata will go next year. Mata's contract at Man United expires next summer. Earlier on this year, Juan Mata signed a 1-year contract extension. I can't understand why we extended Mata's contract for another year, because Mata doesn't get in R11, and plus he's lost that yard of pace and he's aging up. But despite all of that, I think he's had a good career at Man United. Mata has been at Man United for 7.5 years, so he's been a long-serving player. He's made over 200 appearances for Man United in all competitions, and he's scored over 50 goals. The first part of last season, Mata rejected an 18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. We got Mata back in 2014 from Chelsea for 40 million. And I think Telles, Jones, Bailly and Dalot will leave next year. I also want Lindelof to leave next year because he's not good enough to represent the club, but I haven't heard anything about Lindelof leaving next year yet. And Dean Henderson may go out on loan as well after David De Gea reclaimed the #1 spot. Well, earlier on this season it said Dean Henderson wants a loan move away from Man United. Now, recently, I have been talking with you a lot about Paul Pogba. Now, the Daily Mail recently said that Real Madrid are ready to offer Paul Pogba 12 million a year in wages. And the 25 million transfer bonus, as Paul Pogba's agent Mino Raiola is pushing his client towards Real Madrid. Spanish publication AS said recently that Real Madrid are back in the race to sign Pogba on a free transfer when his contract at Manchester United expires at the end of the season. Real Madrid think Pogba could help convince Mbappe to join them next year. Real Madrid have been relentlessly linked with Pogba before, and a couple of years ago Pogba spoke about Real Madrid and his relationship with Zinedine Zidane. During the international break, Pogba refused to rule out a Juventus return. Pogba did admit that he always speaks to his ex-Juventus teammates. Earlier on this season, Pogba's agent Mino Raiola suggested Pogba could return to Juventus from Man United on a free next summer. Pogba did enjoy 4 good years with Juventus before he rejoined Man United, and League 10 Sports said not so long ago that PSG are ready to offer Pogba 500,000 a week in wages if he decides to leave Man United next summer. PSG were in for Pogba in the summer transfer window, but they couldn't get him because they got Lionel Messi. As you all know, Lionel Messi's leaving PSG, and recently Pogba was offered to Barcelona, and Inter Milan have been in for him before. So reflecting on that, Pogba's had a long-running transfer saga. Now, Andy Mitten from The Athletic said recently, like he updated you, Man United have offered Paul Pogba £400,000 a week to stay at Manchester United. That would see Pogba become the second highest earner at the club. At the moment, Pogba receives like £290,000 a week. He said the other week though that Pogba wants to stay at Manchester United and sign a new £400,000 a week contract. Paul Scholes recently backed Paul Pogba to stay at Man United. Pogba's current contract at Man United expires next summer. Before the start of this season, Pogba rejected a Man United contract, and earlier on this season it said Pogba's very likely to leave Man United on a free next summer. Pogba played against Leicester yesterday, didn't do much, but I do think Pogba's enjoyed a good start to the Premier League season. He's already got 7 assists. He produced good performances for Man United in the last couple of months of last season as well. Didn't he? And he did well in international duty with France recently. You know, this season is Pogba's 6th season at Man United since he rejoined. He's our most expensive signing at the moment because we paid 89 million for him, and Pogba's won 3 trophies at the club so far. We had him when he was a lot younger under the Ferguson era, but had to let him go due to limited appearances. As you all know, Raphael Varane is out with a groin injury for a few weeks. He's a big miss for us. Varane came off injured in France's Nations League final against Spain. He went down holding his leg. He got replaced in the 43rd minute by Dayot Upamecano. So Varane's the only injury we've got now as far as I'm aware. Maguire's just come back from a calf injury. Maguire surprisingly played against Leicester, but he was rushed back too soon by Ollie, and Ollie got criticised for starting Maguire. And Rashford's just come back as well. Obviously scored in his comeback against Leicester. That was his first appearance for Man United since the Europa League final last season. Rashford was out with a shoulder injury for a while, and don't forget he had to have an operation on his shoulder. On my next video, I'll be giving you a preview for the Manchester United-Atlanta game. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching, and subscribe. It's Red Devil 24.